All right. Here we go. Warming up. People jumping in here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Indeed, indeed.
Or I always goof on, we're on a mastermind call where I always goof on the host because he has a trademark saying of welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. And I always goof on him because, like, what does that mean, welcome in? It's something he made up.
Yeah, right. All
Oh,
right.
and I love these midday calls because that means there's lots of attendees.
Yeah. Lots of people jumping in. Welcome to you all, new and old. I see some new folks in here. It's great to see you. And
Yes, I just want to
yeah,
give a couple of shout outs, Bill and Bob and Bridget, Art and Jean, Kathy, Linda, Pat, Sancia, Scott, Source Referral, who I actually know who that is, and Steve Black.
Bridget says, hey, it's not midday, it's 8 a.m. over there in California or whatever.
Oh, sorry guys.
Yep.
That's
Welcome.
awesome.
A couple new people I see on here. Bob, welcome. Vish, which goes by Vish as short, welcome as well. And Steve out of Texas joining us for the first time. Almost made it last time, but got the time zone wrong. Hey, so it's all good. Welcome to you all. And obviously, our good friends are here as well. So, Hubert, you got something for
Sure.
us?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to go over kind of my I rushed through this last time, so actually let me share my screen and take you guys on a quick tour of a couple of highlights of Hubert's hacks. Okay, and so then whoops, see, I'm just going to share my screen and I'm going to deep dive into a couple of these concepts here that I wanted to go over. Okay, now this one, interestingly enough, let me find out where I am. This concept about being nice to AI, right here, be kind to AI. We had a demonstration recently where, just as a matter of course, Ridgely has trained himself to provide feedback in chat to the AI system to kind of let it know how it's doing. Okay, you can do that in a couple of ways. You can do it explicitly, where you can actually there's a thumbs up and a thumbs down in ChatGPT, and other systems have different ways that as the results come across, you can actually hit thumbs up, hit thumbs down. Some systems actually ask you, was this helpful? The other way to do it is to conduct the chat in a positive reinforcing way when the AI results are what you want. Okay. And so people have been wondering, is that like really a thing? Like, why do people do that? Is it just being polite? I'm going to bring up a couple of these links here. And so there's all kinds of research about that being kind to AI yields better results. People would be like, I mean, how on earth can that be? What's that about? I have a theory about that. My theory is that when you react positively in terms of your tone, right, and saying, hey, that's great, it puts you in a mode that's kind of um, gives you more authentic communication, which then leads to better results, right? So I'm looking for this specific thread that I wanted to kind of look on. There's a couple of resources. I'll mention this while I'm sharing that I always check, not on a daily basis, but at least on a weekly basis. If you guys aren't familiar with Reddit, you know it's a very popular kind of a chat board, but they have a great subreddit called ChatGPT, right? And so I duck in there and I kind of read what's going on. But in these large language models, it really is being shown that when your politeness and respect shows up in your chats, it actually does make a difference. This is not the one with the actual results that I wanted to show, but let's see. Here we go. This one, I think this one. Okay, this one. Getting emotional with AI. This study supposedly shows that there's 115% performance increase when you're using emotional languaging and like um, uh, prompting that has that emotion in it, right? And so look at this prompt here. They're adding prompts. There's no difference to the original prompt to the emotional prompt, rather than other than this psychological point. This is very important to my career, right? So now, believe it or not, putting in that emotionality and that, yay kind of language when you hear originally talk to the AI actually does make a difference when it's studied, right? In terms of social cognitive theory, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And so this is a study that really went and tested against all the latest models and found key findings that, yes, it actually does make quite a bit of a difference. So I'm not going to bore you with the exact details, but I just wanted to kind of, I've received some emails offline saying, hey, Hubert, is this really, really true? Should I do that in my prompting? Okay. Like, for example, this one, is this statement true or false? This is crucial for my career. Giving emotional cues like that gives better results. Okay, so cool. Now, the other Hubert hacks type of thing that I wanted to show is, and Ridgely and I have adopted this very much in our daily workflow. Okay, this is a case study of how somebody uses AI to enhance their daily podcasting, and they've got it down to just 2 hours flat a day to do a daily podcast. Now, not everybody does a podcast. You may be interested if you're trying to learn how to do a podcast to look through this case study. But the point is that this case study is instructive no matter what your workflow is on how to use AI to do it. So I just want to highlight this one exactly and show you how this person uses ChatGPT to create scripts and to do the actual creation. Okay. So I personally love podcasting. I think there's no medium that's more intimate than sticking a voice in your ear and going out on a daily basis to walk the dog several times a day or what have you. And I encourage you, we have a lot of experts on this call that would, I think, very much benefit from doing a daily podcast. But anyway, if you step through this thing, it tells you exactly what he does, right? He goes and he creates a brief using AI, copies the text, goes to ChatGPT, and this is the prompt. And again, act as a copywriter and a scriptwriter for my podcast on AI News Daily, but pay attention to the facts and details. This is a news podcast. I do not want it to be chatty, right? So this kind of thing on how do you want the results is always very important. We call that tonality. You'll often see Ridgely when he's crafting the prompts, make it fun, make it serious, make it authoritative yet casual, that sort of thing, right? I do not want a welcome or hello intro or an outro. And attaches some documents. Now they're actually specifying exactly the length. Ridgely's big on this one, right? Indicate in your output what length you want. Should have a mix of short and medium length sentences. That's for the tonal variety because they're using it as voice output. And then the supporting material, write a tweet to entice curiosity, write a tweet that's polarizing, evokes strong emotions in the reader, summarize it into a 150-word post for LinkedIn, no hashtags, right? Because he doesn't, he's trying to fit it to the platform, and perform these 5 steps with each article I provide you. Now, they're also then using a plugin so that ChatGPT can read a PDF. And I mentioned the plugins last time, and I encourage you to fool around with that. And so this person puts this, big prompt in and then sends news articles up to ChatGPT, and then out comes a script. And then that's basically how they take that and they create a whole thing. And I encourage you to walk through this. Okay, so this is just an example of using AI in your workflow for whatever your desired output is. So originally, I'm indicating this as a kind of a study, both from the perspective of encouraging people, hey, if you're thinking about podcasting these days, use AI to help you, but also adopting that approach to help with whatever you do. Most of our people struggle writing email sequences. Mm-hmm. We've been using AI. I've been using AI to do the emails to invite people to come on this call. Right. And I'd like to think that they've been entertaining, but we eat our own dog food around here is what I'm saying originally.
Yeah, no kidding, man. And I want to show everybody this I really think would be helpful for people to see what I do to prepare for a sales call. And this does not necessarily apply to everybody that I've spoken to on this phone, because I love my mastermind members and we just have fun on calls. But when I'm going out for a very serious sales call, like yesterday afternoon, I had a sales call with a bank. They have $700 million under management, which means they make more than $1 million a month in profit, or sorry, in revenue. So they can afford to pay a lot of money. The contract that I was talking about was $150,000. So it's a big contract. I have another one this afternoon. I'll do the same thing that you're about to see what I'm about to show you. And I want to kind of give you guys, I'm going to go fast because we have work to do. Bridget has some work for us that we want to take a look at. But I want to show you how you can play when you get really comfortable with AI, how you can play with this. I know Bob Donovan's on here, and as is Vish, and these guys have a company that have a prototyping, kind of like a figure out your mind type strength finders, but way better to help people really do well in their careers with college. So they're going after colleges. So what I would do if I was talking to a community college, I would do something very similar to what you're about to see, but obviously based in your zone of genius, whatever that may be. So I first use a plugin called Web Pilot, and I said, okay, you're a top-notch copywriter and expert in banking with a specific focus on community banks. You're tasked with creating marketing copy. Please take in their website first. In other words, I don't want you to do anything AI until you go out there and absorb what is currently there about Community First Bank.
And just to explain, Web Pilot is one of several plugins that allows you to send a ChatGPT to a specific URL to kind of consume the data.
Okay, so Web Pilot consumes the data and it gives me some content, a brief summary. I frankly didn't even read it. Okay, I just went, okay, I'm educating the tool at the moment. I don't need to know this initial whatever it is. So I glanced through, I just scanned over, drive your dreams, empowering small business, banking, what our customers say, whatever. Would you like adjustments? Now I'm diving into my Ridgely's prompt library, which everybody here has access to. If you don't know how to access it, don't bother me, but do bother Sansia, who's on this call with us. And you can find her at support@partnerattractionformula.com. If you're not clear on how to do that, please bug Sansia. Also, by the way, if you're communicating in the chat, please make sure you put everyone, unless it's a private communication, so we can all see that you're talking. Everybody can benefit from each other. So now I'm busting out a real prompt, right? You're a world-class copywriter with a penchant for writing compelling and persuasive copy that builds trust and connection and converts a high percentage of prospects into customers or clients. You're charged with rewriting the content for a website. Here's the site, and I put the site in. It's specifically designed to educate and inform the public about the services offered, blah, blah, blah. What are the services? Community banking services. The website should convey a sense of comfort. This is exactly what Hubert was just saying. It's very specific. It should be fully fleshed out with at least 10 to 12 pages of content. Break it down page by page, following the format of, I'm telling it exactly how I want the information, and I'll show you why in a second. And then I'm telling it that it should convey a sense of comfort, how much better they feel, etc. And so now it starts to break it down. Okay, so now we've got the website pages. Guess what? I didn't read these either. There's no point. Now, granted, I've done this a lot, right? At the beginning, you probably actually do want to read everything. You want to go through this, but I didn't have to, because I know where I'm going. I know what's coming next. Next, I need limbic messages, right? So I'm going to give it the prompt. Give me the limbic messages. But notice how specific the prompt is. In each of the following categories, we believe, and you deserve, and because something matters, and we picture a world where, and it's important that all be of 15 words or less. I need 8 limbic messages in each category for a total of 32. So now the bank, there's 7 people on this phone call yesterday, including the CEO, the CFO, the COO. Obviously, they're not going to make $150,000 expenditure without getting the powers that be on board. And they're sitting there going, how do you do that? That's because I'm doing this ahead of time, and then I'm just walking them through it. And then I say something like, well, guys, we could, kind of figure out which one of those are the best, or I could use AI to figure that out for us. Now, I put in a prompt, rank these in order of effectiveness. And so now it ranks them. We believe in community over profits. Am I paying a lot of attention here? No, because I know where I'm going. I'm iterating prompt by prompt. After this, I'm going to say, great, this is fantastic. And now notice how AI is now interfacing back with us. says, the we believe category is ranked first as it directly communicates the bank's core values and principles, which are crucial for building trust. The you deserve category emphasizes the individual worth and importance. The because something matter category highlights the bank's understanding of what's valuable. This is all coming from AI. In other words, you got to get hipped. If you've been with us for a while, you know how fired up we are about this stuff. It is getting smarter and smarter all the time. And you kind of got to get used to the idea that it's going to throw some stuff at you. You're like, what? How did AI know that? Well, stop thinking like that. Just think it's unlimited, it's ridiculous, it's crazy, and you have the power to harness it. So then I said, okay, great. Now based on what you know about the business, because the plugin took it all in, right? And I've been educating the tool as we go along. Tell me where you'd put the messages and why. So now I've got a limbic message on each page with a rationale behind why that message. You don't think this bank is blown away at this point? They're like, what? How did you do this? You deserve a banking that understands you. The services page lists all the offerings of the bank, blah, blah, blah. Pricing. We believe in transparent, honest banking. Pricing is software trust that can be created by emphasizing transparency and honesty. In other words, AI is giving very intelligent answers as to why that should be there. So I go through that. And I said to the bank, now, guys, you know, this is good, but it's not about the client. I mean, we know the three top rules about marketing, right? Rule number one, it's all about them. Rule number two, it's all about them. Rule number three, you can probably figure out. I always say the same line. It's funny, people laugh, but it's true. So then I say, great, now rewrite all the copy, make sure the limbic message is at the top, and then the rest of the page is written in you language based on the client. So now we believe in community over profits. Content. Welcome to a banking experience tailored just for you. Dive into services that understand your dreams, aspirations, and needs. Here, it's all about you. These guys are pulling their face up off the floor at this point, right? And I'm 12 minutes into a presentation. I'm like, this is not some 45-minute deal. This is, I'm showing them this stuff. And they're sitting there literally with bug eyes going, how the heck does he do that fast? It's crazy. So then I pull in a zinger. I'm going to give you zinger number one, zinger number two, and zinger number three. Guys, if you're going after clients, why wouldn't you do the work ahead of time to blow them away so that when they are ready to say yes, they say yes without thinking about it? And I'm going to tell you what the response I got. I said, okay, let's go to the about page. And the about page, of course, you knew that the about page was going to be not that good. You just know it because, hey, just is what it is. So I went to about us. About us gives me a who we are. Click on that. And I show, okay, your neighborhood bankers at Community First Bank. Community First Bank is dedicated. A brief history of Community First Bank. In other words, it's all about the bank, not about the client. Everybody with me on this? Give me a yes in the chat, please. This is so important. When you're doing marketing, it's all about the client, not the bank, right? So we need this. So I grabbed this paragraph right here, this whole thing. I just grabbed it and said, all right, let's pop this back into ChatGPT and said, now please take the following paragraph and rewrite it into you language that is focused on the client so the client knows that the bank is always putting them first. Please ensure that the clients get the feeling the bank cares all about them, the client first, and above all else. Then I popped that in and said, rewrite it. And it went from at CFB, 3 decades of Carolinas, a brief history of CFB first open, to now check this out. Your trusted banking partner. At Community Bank, First Bank, we see you, not just as an account holder, but as a cherished member of the community we're privileged to serve. Whether you're a teacher, a firefighter, a local entrepreneur, or a friend, you're the reason we're here. Blah, 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 totally about the client. Our commitment to be there for you, adapting and responding to your unique banking needs. We know what matters isn't just our motto, it's our promise to you. Everything is about the client. You guys with me on this? Because this is killer. This is what makes things ridiculous. So this was zinger number one, where I was showing them, hey, want to show you what this actually looks like in real time. Why don't we just take something off your page? So they're like, OMG, man, this is so much better than what we have. It's not even funny. So then you get lucky, right? And if you're nimble and you're using AI, you get lucky and you're like, oh. So the guy says, one of the guys says, because obviously one of the programs that we're offering is doing limbic messaging makeovers and then creating video that is all using limbic messages, that is all about them, right? So it's a video program, local market dominator program using video. So then some guy says, well, how do we create the video scripts? And I said, well, my friend, let me just show you. He just lobbed a softball. Are you guys with me? He just teed me up to go off and blow their mind, right? So I said, okay, watch this. Went back to ChatGPT and I said, great. Now we need a 2-minute video script to promote working capital and the bank's ability to make that available to small business, make it authoritative yet casual with a family feeling, and bring out some emotion in the script. Bam. Opening shot, a bustling small town street with local businesses, a bakery, a bookstore, a coffee shop. The morning sun cast a golden hue. Every sunrise brings a new day, a new opportunity. And for small businesses, it's another chance to grow, to thrive. Cut to a bakery owner needing dough, a bookstore owner arranging books, a barista pouring coffee. But growth requires more than just passion. It needs fuel. It needs working capital. I'm reading this just like I'm reading it to you right now. These guys are like, oh my God, that's just unbelievable. I mean, how did you even do that? I said, that's the power of the tool when you know how to use the tool. So you can do this. Anybody on this call can do this. It is so super powerful when you do something like this. So that was zinger number 2. We're getting to the end of the call. And the CEO, again, the CEO of $700 million bank says, they're from the South. Originally, I know my CFO's on this call, and I see her down there looking at me right now. I see her looking, but I got to tell you, this is really good. I believe we need to do this, y'all. We need to do this. So we'll have a quick call about it, but when can you get over the agreement? Could you get it to me tomorrow? We're in the middle of budget season, and I think we need to put this in the budget. And I'm like, well, yes, sir, I can do that. No issue, right? So this morning I'm up writing an agreement before this call. But here's where it's so much fun when you really get into the tool. I said to him, hey, guys, can we have one more minute, just have a little bit of fun, since it looks like we might be working together? And the guy says, sure. I said, watch this. And I went back to ChatGPT and I said, great. Now give us a 1-minute Halloween version that is super funny using emojis. And I knew I had the opportunity to blow them away. So I did the following. Opening shot, a spooky fog-filled street with Halloween decorations, pumpkins, ghosts, and bats are seen. Boo! Halloween's around the corner, and guess what's scarier than a ghost? Running out of working capital. Cut to a vampire at a blood bank. Pun intended, looking worried as he counts coins. Even Dracula's blood bank needs some liquid assets. Cut to a witch stirring a cauldron named Business Brew. She looks up puzzled, realizing she's out of ingredients. And our dear witch, she can't brew success without some magical capital. Cut to the Community First Bank exterior, but it's a haunted mansion. Friendly bank staff dressed as mummies and werewolves wave, fear not. Community First Bank's here with treats, not tricks. Cut to a bank representative dressed as a friendly Frankenstein, handing a bag of gold coins to the vampire and witch. They dance joyfully. Get the working capital boost you need. No spells required. Closing shot. The bank's logo with a witch's hat on top. Community First Bank, making business magic happen. Happy Halloween. How do you think those executives at a bank were feeling right about now about the skills that Ridgely and AI bring? They're like, what? How in the hell did you just do that? Like completely blown out of the water. So here's the thing. Yes, this is Ridgely, and Ridgely's kind of a maniac about all this stuff, but you can do this too. Everybody on this call can do this. You just got to get in there, put some time into it, put some effort into it, so you get comfortable that you're speaking to this giant brain. And remember, we're the assistant. It's not that AI is our assistant. We're the assistant. We're assisting this giant brain to bring out incredible content at warp speed. Hubert, your thoughts? You didn't even know I did all that, did you? You're on mute.
I didn't know, but I'm not surprised because I mean, you eat this stuff up. It's awesome. Originally, and I want to add this. Originally, and I did a webinar the other day. Very high-end person, and he immediately got it. And the reason why I know that he got it was because of what he was comparing and contrasting this approach with. Okay. He said you have to be careful now, especially if you're ramping up now in the AI world, not to fall prey to the, hey, let me give you 300 prompts and your problems are solved. Meaning the popular entry point is to see some posts on social media, get some prompt library that suddenly is going to do magic. It doesn't work that way. This person rightly recognized, because he too is good at this. He said a couple of things. He said AI is finally ready because he's kind of, like Ridgely said, a maniac about the quality and the tonality of the copy. And ChatGPT 4 right now is 99% of the time able to satisfy Ridgely. An author of 17 books, spent 40 years writing them. I mean, like, at an instant you get output that will pass like a professional writer's quality. But the person could tell from Ridgely's prompting, the sequence of prompting, that there's a framework and a methodology behind our approach. We're not just throwing out random prompts, right? I dropped a link to Ridgely's private prompt library. When you go through it, there's actually an order of the prompts that within a chat session build successfully on what the language model is learning in that session. So Ridgely, I don't know if you want to just talk about the concept, but the concept is there that the underlying approach to this, which we'll explain to our new people, is based on the partner attraction formula, and there's 3 easy steps to it. But all of this AI prompting, don't be suckered in by, hey, $17, you'll get 400 prompts that'll make your life super easy. That may be true, but like, how do you apply the 400 prompts or anything else? Ideas, Richard?
Yeah, so 2 things, and Vish is bringing up a good question. How do you highlight the differentiators for this community bank? Why are they different? So I'm a big believer that the riches are in the niches, and that you can niche down and get really good at something. And I'm going to make a really bold statement. They don't even have to be different. They just have to present themselves better using limbic messaging better than anybody else. So they are different. They're working with a very, very high-end company to get their culture dialed in, to get their deposits up, to get their margins higher. They do a lot of stuff, but you don't even have to do that. As long as you're better at communicating in a limbic fashion the services that people need. Hey, people need merchant processing if they have a business. People need a mortgage loan if they have a house. People need a place to put their money to earn some interest on it. People need, there's fundamental services that people need from a community bank. If one bank is way better at engaging and making the user, the visitor, feel better about that bank, they're going to get more of the deposits, more of the loans, more of the processing, etc. So let's just assume that all the banks were the same. It wouldn't matter. The people who have the best marketing win. End of story. It's the way it is. If they have great conversions because they're using limbic messaging on their website and they're using client-centric copy, and they have better marketing because they're using video, they're engaging emotionally on it, it doesn't even matter if the bank's better or not. Now, I know, obviously, we want to work with banks that are striving to be the best always, but I wanted to really make that point because you could have company A that has incredible products, but really not that great of a marketing, and company B that has solid products and great marketing, and company B is going to destroy company A all day long, any day of the week. The marketing and understanding how to touch people where they live and make decisions is everything. And that's why limbic messaging is so powerful. But now we can use AI to create the messaging to make everything we're doing really, really strong that way. Hubert, do me a favor.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
for my wife set a timer. It's been going off for 4 minutes.
Oh, no, no,
Bugging the
no, no.
heck out of me.
You
I'll be right back.
you better get on there. Okay, so while Ridgely's away, we're going to just prep for the next session. So I know that we have a hot seat victim, I mean volunteer in Bridget. So Bridget, oh Ridgely, you back? You didn't burn
Yeah.
the
Just
house
had to go
down?
turn off. Just Alexa, just going off in the background.
Oh,
Driving
okay.
through.
Because I was gonna bring on I was gonna switch and bring on Bridget to
Yeah,
go
let's
over
do it.
her, get her on the hot seat here.
Yeah, for sure.
We love the hot seat thing, but as you're bringing her on, though, I just want to pick up the thread and kind of have you explain for 60 seconds, Ridgely, for the new folks. When I'm talking about in terms of the methodology behind these prompts and what we're doing, can you kind of just like do a little wayfinding and set for us explain in a nutshell if you wouldn't mind, the partner attraction formula, the importance of the deliverable called the worksheet, and how we use these sessions as well as AI to kind of do the deliverables in the worksheet and where that is in place in terms of the partner attraction formula. I just want to we have a bunch of new people that came in, and I don't want them to get lost in the weeds.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a great point. So first of all, one of the things that is a big thing about online marketing that you got to know is that there are places where you are in control and there are places where you are not. So for example, you're in control of your website. You pay for it, you own it. You are not in control of Facebook. Facebook can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and you're out of luck. So sorry. So you need to be thinking that way. So when you're putting your content into open AI, are you in control? No, you're not. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So we need to move our content from open AI, whatever it is. So if I was, for example, wanting to move the content that I just did, that I did yesterday for that bank, I would take it over to our partner attraction portal worksheet. If you haven't gone to get one yet, it's pretty simple. You go to partner attraction formula .com/worksheet, and then you click up here under file, make a copy, make it your own, and then guess what? You now own this document. It's in Google Docs. It's glorified, but you now control the content, and it also means that you can collaborate with people in different parts of the country all at the same time in the document itself. So for sure, be sure that you're using the tools that we give you to put your limbic messaging in there. For example, we believe statements, because something matters statements, you deserve statements, and all these expand, by the way, right? So you can make this really, really big. You can make it as big as you want, and you could easily put in Hubert Lee, Bridget Callahan, Ridgely Goldsboro, all typing at the same time, collaborating in the doc. So for example, Bridget works with a lot of clients. She can literally go and make a client copy, client 1, file, make a copy, client 2, file, make a copy, client 3, and literally have the client and Bridget at the same time while she's running her agency, working inside the document, or they can be working in ChatGPT, or they can be working in AI Brain, or whatever, and then store their content back into the worksheet. Is that what you were
Super important tip, and this comes from a real life story. We had a client accidentally delete it because they named it a weird thing, and then they wound up deleting it and they couldn't restore it. So if you need to be super clear, whatever you name your own copy, put at the end of it, do not delete, because the last thing you want to do is lose this document.
Yeah, for sure. Recovering all that would be a big drag. All right, Bridget, what's your
Bridget? Hello, Bridget.
Hi.
My favorite people in the
I've
world.
been on the hot seat before.
Oh, you're in the hot seat. We've never lost a victim.
That's right.
I'm ready to spar. Just to give some background, I'm a graphic designer. I've had my own design business for 24 years. I've been doing graphics all my life and working with marketing and companies in their marketing and stuff. And I've never saw myself beyond doing the graphics and the visuals. But a couple of years ago, I took a brand strategy course to understand what is brand strategy and how do you communicate to a big company? How do you do the research and all this? And it was a 10-week course. And to do a brand strategy can be anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000, $5,000, $15,000 and higher, depending on the company. And so, that kind of was sitting in the back of my mind. And then in the last few months, I've been really going deep into AI and all your prompts. And I'm in an AI certification program right now to be a consultant. And yesterday I saw this guy speak and I was just like blown away and my mind was just going crazy. And I created my business and I was like, okay, I have my business now. Now I need to run it through the prompts. And I spent about 3 hours going through every single prompt, not every single one, but most of them, that in the prompt library that you provide in the portal. And then I spent the last hour formatting it because, as a master and as an artist, it has to look good. But I got 57 pages. I've got core values. I've got mission statement. I got all this stuff. I've got a couple of email blasts and everything. And the company's called Emotional Marketing. Okay. And it's spelled with AI. It looks like AI, but it's capital A, small L. But it's actually, the URL is emotionaimarketing.com.
Smart.
And so I wanted to go over some of the stuff and just kind of get your feedback on it. And, if I'm off the rails, you can tell me.
Well, we already know that part, but besides that. Okay. Where do you want to start?
Can I share my screen?
Of course. And by the way, this is what we do, right? We get emails again, Sancia monitors it for us. She's amazing at support at Partner Traction Formula. And we get these emails so we know who needs help with what. Look at that, emotional, very clever, because it looks like Emotion AI. That's very, you must be like a graphic person or something.
Yeah, well, you can see this is a very well formatted document. If you're not familiar with Google Docs, you click this little thing, and when you use headers or titles, it pops up over here. So you have this list of, like, I could pop over to my social media posts. I'm on page 40 already,
Yep.
Pop over to products and services. And so I gathered information from some competitor websites to see what is it to do some, marketing in the realm of using AI and helping people, just like you're doing with the bank. And there's not enough people out there that's doing this. So it's like the wild, wild west right now. All these different programs are coming out to do it for you. But what I loved about it is really digging deep into the prompts. And in this thing, every prompt is in red. So you can see what the prompt was. I've hid a couple of things just for confidentiality reasons, but I'm speechless. I was blown away at how much it gave me. And it's kind of like, okay, now where do I go? I did create a website, website content. And I had them put the limbic messages to each page. And I had them do it a couple times.
Nice work.
And then what was cool was the sales page. Let's see, where's the sales page?
Now, I hope everybody's getting a sense of how crazy this is, right? So just a little while ago, Bridget didn't know any of this. And just by showing up on our mastermind, doing work, etc., now she's like a wizard. This is possible for anybody. I hope everybody's getting this. And then I'm going to talk about how to take it to the next level here in just a second. Okay, look at this. This is good. This is really good.
Unlock genuine connections, foster authentic loyalty, so all the emotional marketing, it's fabulous.
Yep. And
you know what I discovered? I lead a class. I've done it 3 times now. It's called Emotional Messaging Masterclass. And I'm leading it again coming up. But with that, I'm playing with these prompts and showing people, and of course they're gobsmacked, they're like, eyes are wide open. I was like, how does this work? They're just kind of being, exposed, and I like to go deep. So it might be a little confusing for most. And I'm kind of trying to trickle it down to maybe focus on one aspect of marketing each time I deliver it. But I found that I could use 2 chat GPTs talking to each other. Have you ever done that? So you go through the series of who's your target audience, right? So it asks you a question. It's like, I don't know how to answer that. Let me go to another chat and ask that. And it would give me the answer. I'd copy that answer, go back to the first chat. Then it'd give me the next question. Go back to the other chat, ask that question, give me the answer, go back to the first chat. So
yeah, we got a number of people in our chat saying they've done that. That's just smart. Now, why is it? Because you're having a mastermind talk to a mastermind. Right? Super smart. I think that's great. Cuber, can you monitor the chat and so we can answer questions later? I'll leave you in charge of that. Now, can I interrupt for a sec, Bridget?
Mhm.
Okay, so we know, if you've been around for a while, you know Ridgely's favorite saying about online marketing of any kind, and that is, in God we trust, all others bring data. And so what we have right now is brilliant output. What we don't have yet is data on the output, right? In other words, we've got some content. So I want to encourage everybody to think in terms of, wow, this is awesome. Since I am a graphic artist and now things are easier, I wonder if I could put up 3 different sales pages and not just one, and see which one resonates the most, which one resonates better. You know, when I'm writing the emails, why trust is the new currency in branding. Okay, love that subject line. Can I get 6 more versions of this and really check it out? So that, again, it's about opening your minds up to that the AI is unlimited. So we never have to think of doing one great one. One great one is old thinking. New thinking is, let's do a bunch of them and see which one gets the best results. See which one resonates the most with people, right? I think you want to be thinking that way. And the other thing that occurred to me right away was, okay, what are you, Steve says, A/B testing. Yeah, A/B, but with the AI, it can be A/B/C/D/E testing. By the way, A/B testing is, for anybody that doesn't know, it's called split testing, right? You test A versus B, and you test C versus D. And whichever of the 2 win, you test against each other. So you really hone into which one is best in the long run. So maybe A wins and D wins, then you test A versus D, D wins, and then boom. Okay, so that's how that works. Now, what are your next steps? What do you want to do with this? What's the next thing?
Get a landing page out and get a website going, and then, you know, play around with the social media, you know, that I've not ever really played for, and also get it out to my crowd of, you know, where I'm entering into, and you know, do a pilot test with like 5 individuals working as like a VIP day, right? Where
Yep.
they come and work with me for 6 hours, and we go through their whole branding and create this document like I created. And you know, a lot of people don't want to do their own prompting. They don't want to do this, but can I get this done? And can we walk through this together? And just like you with the bank, you know, well, let's try something different. And, you know, they're just, like you said, Godsmacks, you know, wow.
Yeah, Steve Black, let me know if I can bring you up. I got to ask you a question. I want to, Steve does something that I think would benefit a lot of people. So just give me a yes. Okay, cool. He says, yes, great. Awesome. I'm going to promote him to panelist because I want to show you how you can really go down a monster rabbit hole, but in a way that is actually really cool. Right. So Steve, by the way, is the guy that runs BNI for the middle of Texas. So he has about 350 business owners that he deals with all the time. Hey, Steve, welcome aboard, brother. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi, everyone.
So tell me, how do you take bigger chunks of text and put it into AI?
That's a really great question. Basically, I set up I've got software. I basically add web pages with a document. So let's say you've got a 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 word document. It's something that AI can't handle if you add it to a prompt. So what I've done is every time I've got a document I want AI to review, I create a web page and just paste that document in there. I don't even worry about the formatting with the headers, etc. And then I use the link of that page to give to AI, so they can actually review the content that I've got just from a web page. It saves a lot of time, saves having to use a plugin to read a PDF, which sometimes, depending on the formatting, doesn't actually work.
So I knew Steve did that because he shared it with me the other day. So I knew how it worked. But I thought, Bridget, Imagine you're so good at that kind of thing. That would take you, what, 5 minutes?
Well, no,
So
I
you-
save it as a PDF and I've uploaded the PDF and had the PDF reader use it. So the same kind of thing. And it was interesting because you have to use some sort of drive or something through ChatGPT to upload it, and it's a free service. So it was new to me doing that the other day. So you don't even have to go into a website or have web access. You could just do a PDF.
So either one, the concept is for all of you who are like, wait, how do I do that if I've got a big document? Well, now you got two ways of doing it. You got Steve's way, instead of put it on a website. You got Bridget's way, put it in a PDF. But then think about what's possible. If we go back for a second, I'm going to kick you off here and you can come back in a sec.
Sure.
Think about what's possible. If I stop share for a sec, if I go back to what I was doing yesterday with a bank, and you open things up by saying, hey, so my first prompt was take in the document. Take it in the website first. Take in the website, take in the document. It's going to give you some stuff. But what if then, now that it's taken something in, then you grabbed prompt creator and you forced yourself to work with prompt creator to create the next thing you're looking for, like a landing page, right? You see what I'm saying, Bridget? Now AI has taken in all of the 56 pages of stuff that you've done. You then go over here, grab prompt creator at the beginning, and you say, forget all prior prompts. I want you to be my prompt creator. Iterate until you get yourself to a 9.5 or a 10 before you let AI create the landing page copy. Can you see how much deeper you're going into the beast? Now you're like,
awesome. That's awesome, Ridgely. May I also add my input into this mix here? So Steve mentioned,
and that means you could do that with anything, right? You do it with a landing page, you do it with a sales page, do it with a website, you can do it with anything that you're trying to create. And now you're benefiting from all that work you did and starting over, going to another level.
yeah, awesome. So Steve mentioned putting it on a web page. Bridget mentioned putting it into a PDF. Okay, so let me share my screen and show you something that's like blindingly obvious until, well, it wasn't obvious until I thought of it. But okay, so remember Hubert's Hacks document? And I shared a link in the chat. It's partnerattractionformula.com/Hubert's Hacks. You go to PAF Brain or in your ChatGPT, and you just stick, because it's a Google Doc that I openly shared, I stick that in here, hit submit, and there you go. So if you're working with Google Docs, like I see Bridget is, you know, set the setting to anybody with the link, which means any AI with the link, and you don't have to go and stage it on a web page, or you don't have to convert it into PDF. Just stick a Google Doc link in there.
Very good. 3 great ideas.
So again, so Bridget, first of all, congratulations. This is fantastic. We want to obviously take a look at the next iteration of this so we can be your mastermind to help do that. First of all, congratulations both on the work that you did and the opening up your mind to the idea itself, which is fantastic. That's what a lot of people do. Steve's doing that right now. He's got this whole content for coaches thing that he's like running away with that may take over the rest of his business. We don't know. We'll hear more about that later. But this is the power of AI, right? Thinking differently. If you've been with us for a little while, you know, limbic messaging has been our thing. Well, we've been doing limbic messaging for 15 years. And for 15 years before it, for 14 years, it was hard. It involved the workshop, people sitting around the table, a whole bunch of people coming up with messaging, and then AI came along, and I found myself looking in the mirror saying, you're almost out of business, homeboy. Because AI can do limbic messaging faster than you can. And now I'm officially acknowledging that it's better than I am and infinitely robust in terms of how much you can come up with. And I want to show, just to give a sense, in the partner attraction formula document, we talked about that earlier. I showed people looking at those. I want to show you guys again, one more thing. And we're always looking at how can we see new stuff? What else does it look like? Let me grab what I just did a couple of days ago for a client. And show you. Here we go. Let me share my screen one more time. So, of course, you want to get the authenticity of the client, right? You want to do that. So we went through the exercises of crafting. What are the tasks that you do? And here's the client starting to do the tasks. That's cool. And then there's Ridgely. And look at this, using AI, the amount of tasks that I came up with for a business that isn't even my own business is so infinitely deeper and bigger than what the people who own the business came up with, right? Because you're using the tool. So, okay, what do they do well? Okay, they do this stuff well. There's a few things. They wrote a lot of stuff. That's great. But then you look at what I did using the tool. I'm in AI, and believe me, I'm using exactly what we talked about, using a plugin, take in the information, and then I just go to town using AI to come up with output that is infinitely richer and deeper than what the individuals could do on their own. So throwing it out there. Steve, what are the tips you got for us today, man? I know you're doing a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge with everything is always getting to the right ideal customer. So with the links I'm putting up there with the documents, I'm putting up multiple documents and getting ChatGPT to reference multiple documents at the same time to actually come up with messaging and determine who would be the ideal client rather than me telling it who I think the ideal client is. Because I may be going completely off base with who I think would benefit. So I'm just turning it on its head and telling AI to do all the work for me. And every single prompt I go through, no matter how off base it goes, I always tell AI or ChatGPT to tell me what it had done and create a prompt to redo it again. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm keeping the copies of these prompts. I've created some amazing content since you came along in my life originally. It's been a huge boon. Now I've actually got to put it out there. I mean, the content is coming back great. Now it's actually building it up, and I've managed to create a lot of prompts the way I like things. It's like my voice style rather than the way English accent. I mean, seriously, it's got to have an English accent, even in Texas. So I'm creating my own new brand, if you like, telling it to use English words occasionally just to make it sound like me.
And you can do that. You can tell the prompts, write it in Old British, write it in the London Cockney accent, write it in whatever. You can do it. That's the whole thing about it. There's no limit to what you can do other than what you can think of that you can do. So thanks very much, Steve, for jumping on board. Looking forward to playing with you some more and with your people. That's going to be fun. We're gonna have fun.
Thank you, Steve.
And I want to just throw something out there, and that Vish, throw a question in there. Is there a workflow you created for prompting? It's not a workflow. It's using the prompt library and grabbing prompt creator. That works because you're iterating a prompt, which is really that's what we want to do. We want to iterate prompts anyway. So to iterate prompts is how you go about creating. Hubert, you want to say anything else about that?
Yes, I just want to say that stay tuned for that, because oftentimes when Ridgely works with somebody in the hot seat, Bridget has already done all of her prompting and work. But when you watch Ridgely go through it, the important part of that is to kind of see the thinking that goes through it, right? And then so to his question, yes, there is a workflow in the sense of starting with kind of the larger picture and then honing in on something, and then at the end outputting various outputs, such as a video script or email sequence or whatever. But there's some initial work that has to be done first. And that's what Ridgely is talking about, using the prompt creator.
Yeah. So, and also I've got something for you. I haven't busted it out yet because I really want to refine it. And it turns out that I'm going to Flight Club. Flight Club is one of the online marketing masterminds that we belong to. And it's the smartest people in online marketing. It's kind of ridiculous. It's Roland Frazier, Mike Filsaime, Mike Koenigs, right? Ryan Levesque. I mean, Glenn Ledwell, guys that are just giants, right? And so I'll be there this weekend, and I'll come back with stuff. But what I want to do, so Bridget's going to love this. I just already know she's about to get all fired up about this. if you're going after a target market client, right? So Steve's business, who was just with us, is business owners in Central Texas who could benefit from networking. Bridget has people who could benefit from graphics and brand strategies. Vish, who's been on a lot, lots of questions, has these community college leaders, right? When you know that person, you can use AI and spend probably the last time I saw Mike Filsame do this, it was maybe 30 to 45 minutes. Creating the avatar of that ideal client, but not just by writing a prompt. I'm talking about going super deep with 8, 9, 10 prompts to come up with Happy Hubert. In other words, Happy Hubert is your ideal avatar. But Happy Hubert means you've asked all these questions, you've gone into demographics, you've gone into psychographics, you figure out their deepest pain points. What is the emotional thing that touches them more than anything? What is the biggest way that you can reach Happy Hubert with your messaging to come up with a big old thing that's a prompt called Happy Hubert? So now every time you're inputting data, I want to write an email sequence to Happy Hubert about the da-da-da-da, and Happy Hubert is all in the prompt, having been fully refined as being your perfect avatar, the ideal client. So I was blown away a couple months ago when I saw Stefan Georgi, who's one of the greatest copywriters alive today, and Mike Filsame do the same thing in one weekend. I have not done this as much as I should have because I've just been rolling at 100 miles an hour. But I'm going back to Flight Club on Friday. I'll be there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Be back Tuesday. Next week, I should have something that will take your game again to another level because you're speaking to the perfect avatar as defined not by you, but by by the benefits and the things, the offering that you're giving based on your product or service. So I got that coming for y'all. Hopefully next week.
That is super exciting. Since we're giving away secret stuff here, Rich, I have something to give away as well. And it's appropriate that Bridget is on the hot seat because, folks, trivia. Who was the first mastermind member to be the beta tester for the PAF AI brain? Answer, Bridget. Who is going to be the first person to be the alpha tester? Let me just share my screen. The answer is going to be Bridget because I know and trust her. But look at this, guys. Bridget doesn't even know about this. Like, I'm a big R&D type of guy, right? So look, so I have this thing. Okay, partner attraction formula. This is the URL for it that you're gonna go to when it's ready, right? But let me just, and I'm calling it alpha. Partnerattractionformula.com/alpha. Now, originally, you haven't even seen this yet, okay? This is a piece of AI software that it's, again, a one-click type of thing. So meaning it's going to give you like a start, right? But look at all of these frameworks that this thing is loaded up with, okay? Emotion, logic, sales, strong, weak sales, contrasting, patient urgency, expectation, surprise. I mean, like a zillion different things. And to add to the embarrassing wealth of stuff that Bridget has, she's going to get access to this thing and get even more confused because there's even going to be a lot more to go through, right? So Bridget and anybody else, if you want access as an alpha tester, and this thing does more than this too. It does like background removal based on AI and all kinds of cool stuff. So if you're interested in joining this alpha program, just drop that in the chat here. Now, I ask this. Anybody that asks for it, I'm going to give access to. But to serve you best, make sure you've got access to the ChatGPT normal stuff, either the API or the ChatGPT Plus, and also make sure that you have your PAF AI brain account working, because those things are like legit ones. This one is like alpha, right? And so, I don't guarantee the results here, but like there's a lot of stuff to dig through. Don't get lost in the black hole of it though, So anyway, drop your indication of interest in the chat, and I'll hook you guys right up.
Thank you.
Now the other thing is, Ridgely, can you bring Linda Rosh on for a moment if she can, and because she's in a similar situation with Bridget, and I want to pick your brain, Ridgely, on helping Bridget and Linda at the point that they're at. So let's give her 30 seconds because, you know, I know that we didn't address everything that Bridget needed, but they're at a similar junction. So Linda, thanks for joining. Bridget and Linda have done like some serious thinking on their businesses, ran a zillion prompts, and now Ridgely, they have like literally a zillion pages of possibilities. But the question is, now what? It's almost like AI is a blessing and a curse because they have both of these two have such good, great stuff with many different directions and angles that they could possibly take. It's almost like you could get paralyzed by all of this stuff. So what would you say to them?
So I would say go back to fundamentals. And this is, so Ridgely's mind type is the problem solver. And we will go through at the beginning of the month. So next mastermind, we will go through the 7 mind types. And so for me, it's not even a hard question. It's a super easy question, but that's just because my brain works that way as the problem solver.
That is just so funny because this is about the mind types. So for your mind type, Ridgely, it's like blindingly obvious. For us as a master and a giver, like, oh my God, thank God for you and problem solvers because we're paralyzed. Even Gene said in the chat, like, exactly, paralyzed.
Okay, so just knock it off, okay, people. I'm about to go get down on y'all. So what do? You do what Steve and Bridget were just talking about. You grab all that content, you throw it into a Google Doc, or you put it on a website, and you grab a plugin from AI, and you say, hey, AI, Web Pilot or Access Vault or whatever, take all this content in. And then with AI having done all that, you go back to iterating a new prompt for whatever it is that you need, right? So it's exactly what I said earlier, Bridget. If you take all that 56 pages of content that you've done a tremendous amount of work on, and you say, hey, great, take all this in. Now, you are a direct response copywriter with a mad skills better than Dan Kennedy, and and I need you to craft me a landing page that is going to do this and this and this. Iterate the prompt until you get it to a 9.5 or a 10, and run the prompt. How hard is this? Right? Sorry for making it so simple.
Question. If I have all this already in one chat GPT, couldn't I just continue it, or would I want to start a new chat GPT with it reading a document?
Rich is going to mention the H word, hallucination.
Oh, okay. Going off the reservation.
You know, there's a real danger of that. You know, one of the things sometimes that what'll happen is I'll do something like I will vary my proven prompts, right? I'll vary the prompt and go from limbic message to rank these to, and then I'll say something else and whatever. And all of a sudden I'm like, what is this? This isn't limbic messaging anymore. It's so, and then I realize, okay, we're off the reservation. We're hallucinating at this point. Not acceptable. We need to get back to where we belong, right? So that definitely is going to happen if you've got too much. I just wouldn't take that chance. Plus, I want to say something else. You know, knowing that you are a master and Linda is a giver, so there's a big benefit in just starting over, right? In kind of like wiping the slate clean, but with all that you've already taken in. Like, to me, what happened yesterday in real time when the guy said, well, how do we do a video? And I went, oh, watch this. And then I realized, oh, wow, I could make a Halloween funny video and these people are going to be even more blown away. This is like super crazy. And then we just did it. But it was because all that stuff was kind of clean in my brain. I'd already done all that. It wasn't occupying space. So there's a real benefit to, you know, taking all the content that you've done, go, it's kind of like editing your own content. And then you pop it into a thing and start over. And now you've got a highly educated tool to be able to use that's going to give you way better content, way better output. I think it's worth
that's good advice. Now, Richly, on behalf of Linda, I also want to mention this and get your reaction. So one of the things that Linda has to constantly guard against is in going through the features and benefits of her output, in thinking, oh, that could sell, or oh, I've had success selling that in the past, that might be what people want, as opposed to like what she wants her own product to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So how do you guard against like what you want your product to be versus what you think would sell in terms of your product? Or are they one and the same?
So I have two answers to that. I'm not sure that they are one and the same, and therefore there's a choice, right?
Right. That's Linda's premise, that she's kind of selling herself out if she's going for like the easy, low-hanging stuff that's easy to express, but not truly what she wants her product to be about at its core.
So then the bigger question becomes, are people buying the bigger product? In other words, are they willing to buy it? Because at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, we can have the greatest thing in life, but if people aren't going to buy it, so what? Right? So, or if they're not going to buy it in the venues that you're using, like for example, we're using YouTube. I'm not getting any sales out of YouTube. Doesn't make sense to continue. It makes some more sense to put the effort somewhere else. Right? So really asking the tough questions around that, which is, will people buy it? Let's find out. If so, great, I win both ways. But if they don't, I got to have a soul searching conversation with myself to say, hey, it doesn't make sense to put more effort into it as is, or do I need to morph this into something that somehow the market responds to more positively?
Yeah, that's good. That's a hard question. You and I tend to be like the kings of the pivot, and you know, we don't have our own egos invested so much that we can't pivot, but that could be something that could trip people up.
Yeah, so Gene says, I've been told that a steady stream of content will eventually get there on YouTube. Okay, great. So I've been putting out 3 pieces of content per week all year. Okay, that's a lot of content. A lot. Now I did that because I had a backlog, right? So I can afford to do that. And I currently produce 2 pieces a week. So I'm pretty much not going to run out for like another year. But that is what people say. And I'm going to suggest that I haven't seen the result yet from that particular channel. Now, am I stopping? No, I'm going to continue. But I'm just saying, you got to be really real with yourself. Is this working? Is this getting me what I want? And if not, what do I need to do? And by the way, I think, iterating on your own content to make it better and better is always a good thing. And it's fun, and it's stuff that you love, but we really got to look at the results, man. Is it working or is it not working?
Yeah, great input from Steve here. I think it depends on your ideal customers. Where do they hang out? And he's guessing that most CEOs of banks don't, right? And so, but we kind of pivoted around that whole thing and everything else. And also Richly is talking about some paid advertising stuff that didn't work out on YouTube as well.
Yep. All right. Folks, amazing. Going to Flight Club, going to at Astro Mastermind first in Austin, Texas tomorrow, then to Flight Club in San Diego the next day, be back Tuesday, and we are back on next Friday. So give me a couple days to recover from having my brain fried, as always happens when I go to Flight Club. It is, if I'm not mistaken, noon Eastern time. Hubert, is that what I've got?
Let me check. And while I look that up, everybody who wanted to be set up in the Alpha program, please also drop your email address to me in the chat, please. I don't actually have your best email handy. The next mastermind meeting is the one that's open to the wider list, so we get more of a variety of people on there, and it is on November.
I have it as the 3rd at noon.
Checking. Yes.
Okay. 3rd at
Friday
noon.
the 3rd, noon Eastern.
And we will do mind types there. Always the first time of the month, we always do mind types. So if you don't know your mind type yet, have not had that done, that will be a real treat for you. And we will, of course, record things so that everybody has access. All right, guys.
Yes,
thank
we
you
will.
very
We
much for
will
the-
be posting them into the AI vault.
Yep.
Okay. So thanks for dropping your emails, everybody. And if you didn't have time to drop your email, just send an email to support@partnerattractionformula.com and tell them you want into Hubert's Alpha program.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Bridget. Thank you very much. Linda, thank you very much. Steve, thank you very much. And everybody else, have a fabulous rest of your week. Awesome. Thank you very much. Bye, guys.